Hey everybody, we are going to review the Timberland Mt Maddsen. All right, let's review the Timberland Mt Maddsen. This may be the best budget hiking boot you've never heard of for under $100. It handled our objective testing very well. So as always, we will go over objective testing scores and give you an overall score at the end. If you don't know who we are, mountaineerjourney.com is on a mission to create the most comprehensive database of unbiased, objective testing of outdoor gear so you can get the best value of your money when it comes to gear. Visit mountaineerjourney.com for more. You'll find discounted links down below. If you click them, it helps us earn a small commission without costing you anything. We use that to buy our gear with our own money, which means no sponsors calling the shots. That's how we stay authentic, and your click helps us keep it that way. So let's get into comfort. We rated it a 7 out of 10. Surprisingly, it had decent underfoot cushioning without feeling too squishy, but it's definitely not uncomfortable. It has an anti-fatigue removable footbed, and it has the EVA midsole. The EVA midsole is definitely a really good midsole. It's not as inviting and cushioned as more expensive boots, and it doesn't conform to your foot. Like I said, it's more static. What you look for in a hiking boot is your feet to slowly sink into the midsole. This, it doesn't. It really sits on top of it, but it's not too uncomfortable. The midsole could definitely be more padded. However, for a budget hiking boot, it definitely offers the level of comfort I would expect in this one. There really isn't a sock liner in this boot, which again, they're trying to cut down on the materials and the money as well. I don't think it needs a sock liner because in the first place, it's not too breathable, and adding that sock liner really would have hurt it more. The toe box is very voluminous. We measured it at 3.2 inches, which is definitely one of the bigger toe boxes out there. So wide foot hikers, this is definitely a good one for you. There's really no other areas of compression, especially at the tongue or anywhere on the sides of the boot. I didn't have any numbness or tingling in my feet. What's better in terms of comfort is the upper of this hiking boot. It's more padded up here, as you can see, and especially in the tongue. The ankle cuff comfort is definitely better. They took about 3 to 4 miles to break in, which is about the standard for a leather hiking boot. So by the time I was done with my first hike in these, they're already broken in. Now the downside, it weighs 1.6 pounds per boot, which is extremely heavy. Just to compare that for a frame of reference, it's 55% heavier than the Ultra Lone Peak All Weather, which is the lightest hiking boot available. So pretty heavy. Like I said, this is more of a winter hiking boot as well. So you can also do winter errands in these as well. I know a lot of people that snow shovel in these, take them out in the snow. Definitely more usable in the winter. Traction, we rated a 7 out of 10. The lug pattern isn't super aggressive, as you can see. They're pretty shallow. It's almost like a diagonal pattern here, which is kind of odd. I've never seen that before on a hiking boot. What I don't like is that they don't tell you who the outsole is made by. It's not made by any sort of outsourced brand. You have the Timberland sign here, so I assume it's made by Timberland themselves, but I wish they would have talked about it more. There's no research you can find out about the outsole itself, what it's made of, but overall I would have liked more information from Timberland about their outsole. So I definitely would have preferred a deeper lug pattern. You'll see we did a lot of hiking in the snow with this. It held a good grip on wet terrain, definitely a good winter hiking boot. One thing I had an issue with is it was a little tough on steep terrain, especially while holding an edge. It didn't hold an edge that great. So someone who is a trekker or somebody who's going on very steep terrain, this is probably not the hiking boot for you. However, the outsole is pretty stiff. Let's check this torsional stability. Yeah, especially in the heel area. So I think that compensates for the traction. When you look at the lugs, they're definitely not good. So I think there's a compensation with the stiff outsole for not the so great lug pattern. If nothing, the traction is consistent, and it's definitely not for the hardcore trekker, like I said. Overall protection, we rated it a 3.5 out of 5. It's crafted from full grain leather, as you can see here. It's pretty resistant to scuffs and things like that. The leather, however, is pretty flimsy. It's not nubuck leather, so it's definitely thinner. So it puts you at risk for sharp objects, especially on the side. See how flimsy the side of this boot is on the medial and the lateral side? Keep an eye out there. It is missing a protective toe cap, which I would have liked if they added that. They do have some sort of toe cap that goes up here, but I wouldn't even consider that a toe cap, honestly. It doesn't even go over the toe box. So you could definitely have something pierced back here. It has a gusseted tongue, but the gusseted tongue actually allowed some debris to get into the boot, so it doesn't work that well. I would say the shock absorption was below average. As you can see, the outsole here is not very thick, so especially if you have painful joints, this may not be the hiking boot for you. I personally didn't notice any aching joints, but I could definitely tell the shock absorption of this compared to something that's way better like the Hoka Kaha 3 or even the Kaha 2. Just the shock absorption itself is on a different level. So the upper definitely felt sturdy enough to shrug off some scrapes and brush. There really wasn't any soft spots on the upper. I would worry about the lower in terms of overall protection. So for $100, the Mt Maddsen definitely has the amount of overall protection you'd expect expect for this hiking boot. If they added any areas of reinforced rubber on the toe cap or the heel, that would obviously cost more material demand, increasing the price. So I understand why they decided to not put those extra features on this boot. Water resistance, rated a 5 out of 5. It's not Gore-Tex, and again, if they added the Gore-Tex membrane, it would have increased the price. They have Timber Dry, works great. Obviously, we rated a 5 out of 5. It's got a very high flood height at 6 inches, but it is not breathable. So definitely, if you're doing a lot of hardcore summer hiking, just expect this hiking boot to not be breathable at all. Obviously, it's that stiff leather. As you can see, there's no air ventilation pockets. And I was able to wade through some shallow creeks without soaking my socks. That 6-inch flood height is pretty good, so you'd be able to pass through some small creeks. Fit, we rated it a 5 out of 5, which was very surprising. Comfort aside, the way this fit out of the box was definitely a huge surprise for something in this price bracket. Like I said, I didn't have any areas of compression. I wore a men's 10.5. They do come in a wide. However, I did not need a wide. I usually do get a wide, but like I said, the toe box is nice and voluminous. It's overall a very voluminous boot itself as well. The heel stayed nice and locked in, even on like super steep descents. I didn't have any slip. Like I said, I had trouble holding an edge with the outsole itself, but my heel wasn't slipping inside of the boot. And honestly, fit is where the cheap hiking boots cut the corners, but they definitely didn't do it on this one. So a really good surprise here. Stability and support, rated a 4 out of 5. It's got a very tall upper. As you can see, there's definitely better superior ankle coverage around here. I didn't have any sprains or strains or anything like that. I would say the ankle cuff is not as reinforced as the more technical hiking boots though, like the Salomon X Ultra 4, X Ultra 5, any of the Hoka line hiking boots. It definitely doesn't withstand the ankle protection those have, but it's still pretty good. It has a nice TPU shank. It allows you to have a nice wide base while you're hiking. The build alone of this hiking boot enhanced the stability and support without the lugs. And what I mean by that is the lugs obviously are not that great, but since the toe box is so wide and the boot is very voluminous itself, it allows your toes to splay out, giving you a nice wide, stable base, which then of course increases your traction and stability and support on trail. Obviously, this isn't like a tank of a hiking boot, but the support is more than enough for moderate backpacking. Durability, rated a 6.5 out of 10. There are 3 things you need to know about durability for this hiking boot. It has double stitching, which is great. The outsole began to flatten for me, and it has very thin leather. So let's talk about that. The double stitching you can see all around this boot, which is very good for durability of a hiking boot. A lot of hiking boots are now doing a lot of welded materials, which I've mentioned in my other videos. Not good whatsoever. This has a lot of traditional stitching, and it's double stitch, which is even better for durability. The other part about the stitching that's really great about it is there's not a million zones of stitching. I mentioned that on my Lola Renegade review. The more areas of stitching that you have, there's more stress risers and more areas for it to break. So the fact that this is double stitched and there's not as many areas of stitching, that is a really good sign for durability. So one of the downsides of the durability, the outsole has begun to flatten out, which you'll notice on a hiking boot. We've taken this for over 60 miles now. It's flattened out a little bit, so I'd say I've lost some traction and some stability and support, but not a lot so far. That will happen with hiking boots over time, especially if the outsole is not very aggressively thick or stiff. Then they'll begin to flatten out over time and you'll start to lose some of that performance. So something to keep an eye on. As I mentioned, the thin leather, the last part of the durability, the leather itself is very thin, so usually that thinner leather wears a lot quicker. As you can see, not too much on this hiking boot, over 60 miles now, but as time goes on, it will wear more than other less thick leather hiking boots. So definitely for durability, this is where the lower price point starts to show. So definitely below average durability. Overall, it does exactly what it needs to be for a budget hiking boot, but don't expect them to last for endless hiking seasons. You'll get your money's worth out of it, but again, don't expect them to last forever. So we'll talk about value. Is the Mt Maddsen worth it? Definitely if you're looking for a sturdy and a very weather resistant pair of hiking boots that won't break the bank, we rated it as one of the best budget hiking boots currently on the market. So there's other boots out there that are around this price point, like the Columbia Newton Ridge. It may be more lighter and comfortable, but you have to factor in the price and performance. So I think it definitely gives better solid value compared to the Columbia Newton Ridge. So we rated the value of 5 out of 5. It's definitely well worth the $100. And again, I've had a lot of fun hiking in these boots, and overall just a really good choice for budget hiking boot. Like I said, also, if you want to do some winter activities in these, like walking to work if you had to, or shoveling your driveway, anything of that sort, these are definitely a great winter boot as well. Don't only have to use them for hiking. If you do use them for regular activities though, they will wear quicker, just like any shoe or boot. So if you're still on the fence, this will help you decide. We rated it a 7.7 out of 10. So if you're someone who's hiking 1 to 2 weekends a month and want something reliable, this is definitely the best budget option out there. So definitely, if this video helped you out, hit the links in the description and the pinned comment for the best price. I buy everything myself, so your click keeps the testing honest. Please don't forget to visit mountaineerjourney.com. There's a lot here I don't show on YouTube. For deeper comparisons, test data, and exclusive picks, definitely take a look at mountaineerjourney.com. Hit the like and subscribe if you want more reviews. I've got more boots, deeper comparisons, and some more surprising head-to-heads coming soon. Thanks again.